Hey, what's up, peeps? It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where you learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. Another day, another chance to learn English, and this is me, Daniel, here for you guys. And I had been out for a while, so I had a crazy surgery. Now, after 3 weeks, I'm recovered and I'm ready to share more great ideas and thoughts how to learn English with fun. And for today, I've prepared another storytelling for you. It's a story about Gyges. It's a beautiful story from Plato about good behavior, about good personality, how to check your good personality. And I want to read the little story for you guys today, and I will show you some beautiful words here, right? Vocabulary. And we will try to learn the language together with fun, right? We will do it effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, as we usually do. If you're new on our podcast, so we're doing here a great job with emotional learning. That's the idea or the method which I use with my students. If you want to have a private lessons with me personally, you can go to danilabondarenko.ru and book a free tryout lesson with me. If you want to learn English even more effectively, you can visit our Telegram channel. We post the content almost every day, and this content helps you to learn English even more effectively. Don't forget to go to Emotional English on Telegram. All right. So now we'll start with a little introduction. I will give you some words, and we will reflect on these words. We'll try to understand what these words mean. And then I will try to give you a little description. And maybe we will use some questions and some simplifications. And then we'll read the story and use all these words to understand the story clearly and effortlessly learn some new stuff. Let's begin. So the story, as I said, called the story of Gyges, or how people call it the Ring of Gyges. And I have only one question. Would you still be good with the ring of invisibility? So do you know what is the word invisible means? What does it mean? When someone is invisible, or you have a ring of invisibility, right? What does it mean? So classically, ring of invisibility is the ring with a special power. You becoming not visible, right? That's why it's called invisible. So you're not visible anymore if you wear the ring. Yeah. So this is the point. With this ring, you can do whatever you want, right? And the whole story will be about this idea that what would you do if you would have this beautiful ring that gives you no excuses, no problems to make many different bad actions? Would you do that or no? So that's how to check your moral quality. So ring of invisibility. Invisible is the person who is not visible. You cannot see this person. You see through. You cannot understand that the person is here and now. The next point, which I want to show here, is the word probably bizarre, right? When something is bizarre, you can think it's something strange, right? Weird, not normal, right? That's a bizarre thing. And what can be bizarre? Probably the situation on the markets right now. So it's pretty bizarre. The price of oil goes up and down every single day when Donald Trump is making the announcement. So this is pretty bizarre why Donald Trump's voice is changing the prices, right? That's the thing. Another beautiful word which I want to show you is the word zero consequences. So again, we're coming back to the ring of invisibility. Ring of invisibility gives you the chance to have zero consequences. So there will be no police. There will be no people who come to you and say, hey, you did something wrong, right? Nobody would do this because you have zero consequences. You are not in charge of your result, right? So you actually don't have responsibility for things you're doing, right? That's the meaning of zero consequences, right? Nothing happens after you're doing something, right? Zero consequences, okay? But actually, if you have the usage without zero, you have consequences. So something would happen after your actions. Let's imagine if I have my ring, invisibility ring, on me, on my finger, nobody see me, so I have zero consequences. Nobody can understand that I've done something wrong, right? But if I remove my ring of invisibility from this very moment, I have some consequences because the cameras can see me, the people can see me, people can recognize me, right? And that's related to consequences. So it's something that happens after you have done something, right? That's the point. Do you know who is a witness? Yeah, it's a good word. So if you see the witness is the person who had seen something. You know, in the court, in the place where there is a judge, prosecutor, the lawyers, and everything else. So the witness is the person who had seen something, right? And the witness sharing the knowledge, sharing what he had seen or she had seen, right? That's the idea of a witness. Actually, if you have witnessed something bad, what are you doing next? Do you leave the consequences without a touch, or you are trying to be responsible and you're calling to the police, or you're trying to make some actions to make the right thing, right? So that's a big question to all of us. Anyway, and maybe a couple more words before we start. I would go to the word sneaks, right? When you sneaks into somewhere, right? You know what is sneaking? When, let's imagine, you're trying to go somewhere secretly. You're not just walking there, right? You're sneaking there. You're secretly walking somewhere you want to be. When you're trying to sneak into somewhere, you don't want other people to see you, right? So, and you're sneaking into the kitchen when you're hungry and you want to eat something. You're sneaking into the bank if you want to steal some money out of there. It's not the recommendation. Don't do it because you will face what? Consequences. Yeah. And of course, all of that is very bizarre because you don't want to do something wrong, right? Of course, every single time after the consequences, you have the thing that called probably the thing is called moral, right? You're facing the moral every single time. Without a good moral, you cannot face a good future, right? You cannot live good, how the Plato says. So that's the point. By the way, do you know the difference between morale and moral? That's the open question. Yeah, don't mess up with these two words, because if you have a good morale, you have positive vibes, you are pretty active, and you have positive energy with you because of your morale of the team in the office, let's imagine. But if you have a bad moral skills, right, that's probably relates to the bad personality, right? Moral qualities are, very important things in life. So if you do have them, you're a good person. If you don't have good moral skills, you're doing something wrong. All right. So let's face the little storyline now, and then we'll go through and describe the whole story. Maybe I will comment it with my own little stories or ideas, and we will do our job in a great way. So let's try to do so. The story. Imagine there is a regular guy, and his name is Gyges. Gyges just minding his own business. By the way, do you know what does it mean when you mind your own business? It's pretty simple. When you mind your own business, you're just thinking about things that matters to you, right? When I mind my own business, I think about my own things, right? My own ideas. Why do I have this podcast? I do have some ideas. First of all, to promote my business. Second of all, to teach you English for free. And this is the way why I do have this podcast. And if you want to criticize my podcast, or you want to say, Danila, why you don't speak Russian? I will say to you, hey, mind your own business. You have your position. I do have my own position. So we mind our own businesses, right? We think how we think, and we have our own ideas. We don't want to mess up with them, right? So Gyges, isn't it? So Gyges just minding his own business. He's thinking his own thing. Herding sheep, by the way. And you know who else is herding sheep? Yeah, the guy from the story about alchemists, right? I need to continue this kind of narrative with reading, right? The book of Alchemist. And I'll continue very soon, guys. I guarantee you. So, boom, something bad happens, the earthquake. Do you know what the earthquake is? When something is shaking, right? So the earthquake happened and the ground literally splits wide open, right? The ground, the earth, and it splits wide open. There is a big hole in there. So naturally, he climbs down. The man, Gyges, climbs down, not up, right? Not to the hill, down the hill, right? Down the cliff or whatever, this big hole, right? You climb down the hole. At the bottom of the hole, Gyges finds something bizarre, something strange, something weird. A giant hollow bronze horse. Oh my goodness. Hollow bronze horse. Inside, it is a corpse wearing just one thing. A gold ring. Oh my goodness. So inside of the horse, I guess, there is a dead body. And this dead body wearing a ring, right? And this ring made of gold, okay? Gyges pockets the ring and climbs back out. Let's stop for a moment, right? It's a good paragraph here. So we have the guy. What is his name? Right. The guy's name is Gyges. Gyges, not Gregory, not Thomas. His name is Gyges. And what this guy is doing, he's minding his own business, or he's just drinking soda. Yeah, he's just, dreaming, thinking about his own things, right? Minding his own business. And he's herding sheep. So he has a flock of sheep and he's herding it. So then something happened. What happened? Right, that's an earthquake, right? The ground is shaking, right? And the ground splits wide open. Now you have a huge open hole in there. So what Gyges did right after it, right after the earthquake had happened, what he did next? Of course, he climbed down. He climbed down the hole. And was something normal there or something strange, weird? Yeah, that was something bizarre, right? So bizarre, strange. That was a hollow bronze horse. Yeah. So what's inside? Inside there was a corpse. What is a corpse? It's a dead body, corpse, right? And inside of the corpse, inside of the horse, there was a corpse. And on the corpse finger, there was a gold ring. What Gyges did with the ring? Gyges pockets the ring. Pockets the ring. What does it mean, pocketing the ring? It's a good word. By the way, there is a criminal activity named pickpocketing, right? What is the name? Pickpocketing, right? When you pickpocket, you're making a criminal activity. You're stealing from people's pockets, right? You're stealing money, iPhones, whatever. So from the pocket. And Gyges pockets the ring. He's putting the ring from the finger of the dead corpse to his own pocket, right? And he climbs back out, or he's sleeping there. Of course, he climbs back out because it's not safe there to sit in the big hole, right? After the earthquake. Okay, that's the first part. I hope it was pretty understandable. And now nothing bad happened, right? So just the treasure hunting, right? By the way, you know what is treasure hunting? It's when you're looking for something valuable, right? Who was treasure hunting? Gyges. Gyges was treasure hunting. And he found a beautiful ring on the corpse, right? So a few days later, he is hanging out at a monthly meetup with other shepherds. Yeah, by the way, who is a shepherd? Do you remember? It's the name of profession who is taking care of sheep, right? Herding sheep. So that's the way how you call this profession. So a few days later, the guy is hanging out. What does it mean hanging out? You're just relaxing, chilling, spending time together with someone. So he hangs out at a monthly meetup. Every month they meet, these different shepherds at one place. And our Gyges meeting there with other people. Everyone's talking, and Gyges just absent-mindedly fitting with the ring. Absent-mindedly fitting with the ring. He twisted inward and toward his palm, and poof, he disappears. Oh my God. So, first question to you. Do you know what does it mean when you absent-mindedly fitting with the ring? It's like playing around, just touching it and just, touching because you're probably nervous, right? What is absent-minded person? If you are an absent-minded person, you are not very concentrated. You are not having mind on. You're not very focused, right? You're just absent-minded. You're not here. Your mind is not here. So our Gyges guy, he was absent-mindedly fiddling with the ring, just playing with the ring. He twisted inward and toward his palm, and finally the ring touches his finger, and then poof, poof. It's a sound word, right? So poof, and the guy disappears. Now everybody cannot see Gyges. By the way, he became what? Do you still see Gyges? Of course not. You cannot see Gyges because he is invisible. Gyges is invisible. You cannot see him. He disappeared. Okay. Do you remember where Gyges had been disappeared? He had been disappeared at the meeting, right? And this is the monthly meetup with shepherds. Gyges disappeared. He disappeared for a reason. Why he had disappeared. So he had disappeared because he was absent-mindedly fiddling, playing around with the ring, and he twisted the ring again and again, and then poof. What again? Poof. That's right. Bam. He disappeared. Now you cannot see Gyges. What do you think it means? It means something good is coming, right? What is the name of the guy again? Gyges, of course. You're right. Okay. So the guys around Gyges keep chatting. They didn't recognize that Gyges had disappeared. But suddenly they're talking about him, about Gyges, like he just left the room. So they started to speak like he was not there. Gyges twists the ring back, and bam! He's right there again, seeing the guys. So that was a magic trick. It looked like a magic trick. So do you understand what just happened? So when Gyges had disappeared, people started to chat about him on the back, You know how people say it's rumors, right? People started to create rumors about Gyges. They started to talk behind his back, right? So they didn't want him to hear the words they were saying. But then, bam, another word to represent the sound in English, he appeared back. He was invisible, and Gyges became visible again. The guys around him, around Gyges, kind of had been shocked, right? Gyges tested a few more times with the ring. He was putting it on, putting it off. He tested a few more times, and it works absolutely great every single time. And then it hits him. Do you know why? Just a little curious question. Because he realized something very important. He has supernatural power now, right? He can do things that other people cannot do. Yeah, it hits him. He just unlocked a cheat code for real life. It is true. Total God mode. No witnesses, no laws, zero consequences. He can do literally whatever he wants. That's a good thing. So that's what he realized. Who realized? Gyges, of course. So what happened to Gyges in a moment? Of course, something hit him. What hit him? Probably the idea that he can control much more than before, right? So he unlocked a special thing, a superpower, a cheat code. So he had a God mode now. So now he understood that he can do things without consequences. Do you remember what consequence is? Yeah, without the results of his own actions, right? In the end, no laws working for Gyges, no witnesses because you cannot see the invisible man, right? So he can do literally whatever he wanted, right? Let's finalize the story. I guess you know what happens next. Gyges doesn't play the noble hero, unfortunately. He sneaks into the palaces, seduces the queen and different beautiful girls, kills the king in his sleep, and takes the throne for himself. Oh my goodness. What a Gyges. What a guy. So that's the end of the story. And you know what? This story had been told by Plato 2,400 years ago. For one reason, just to ask a deeply uncomfortable question to all of us. This is the question. Do you want to know the question? This is the question. Imagine you get that ring, a 100% guarantee that nobody will ever, under any circumstances, find out what you did. Do you actually stay a good person, or you will become the person that does different things, and these things are out of the moral quality? That's a good question. So that's the story. Again, this is the moral story, right? And this is the story that Plato was telling his students a lot, just to teach good moral ideas, right, and thoughts, just to let you think about importance of life, right? When you have the power or control as a ring that makes you invisible, it's a supernatural power, it's a cheat code. You never know what you're gonna do. Some people say the same about money nowadays, right? So people say, look, money is like a cheat code. If you have a lot of money, you can do much more than without them, right? And this is true. This is absolutely true. But the thing is, we should understand that no matter the superpower is in your hands, you should know how to make this world a better place, not the worst place. It depends what will win inside of you, something that makes you egocentric, something that makes you miserable, or something that makes you more noble. The word noble was there in the story. When you are noble, you are the person who has very good moral qualities, right? That's how it is. Okay, so we just discussed this little mini story, and now we can reflect on it, just to discuss and speak about our own lives. Maybe I will tell you my own story in correlation with that. We will revise the new vocab and just talk, because I haven't been speaking for a while. I do want to talk, and probably I'll need to make much more episodes this week. But anyway, I just want to continue speaking with you guys. Again, imagine we found a superpower, a super ability, right? And nobody can see us. What you would do first? What would you do first, right? I would answer this question this way. As a philosopher, as a person who is curious about life, I would look around. I would look for places where things are happening. I would check what the government is doing just to be more clear about reality, right? Because reality doesn't say much truth to us. And with this superpower, with this ring, I could have that. I would have a chance to listen more, to know more, and to understand more. Second, I would try to think how I would use this ring for myself first, to make good for myself. And then I would think how to use this technology for good for all people who surrounds me, right? My family, let's say my friends, and then the society, right? You can say, hey, why do you talk about yourself? Why is that? It's a normal thing to think about yourself, but it's not a good thing to think about yourself in an exaggerated way. Do you know what I mean by exaggerated way? When you think too much, when you think about yourself too many times or too deep, right? Because it can hurt you and the people who surrounds you. That's the exaggeration. That's the consequences of exaggeration. Okay? That's the point. Anyway, it's deeply uncomfortable for all people who are around us. That's what I wanted to say to you guys. I will ask you for a couple more things, and then we will stop this little discussion. I guess we will discuss the questionnaire about the vocab, and you should answer me. Let's imagine I want to pickpocket someone. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Probably pickpocketing is a bad thing because you're breaking the law. You're stealing someone's stuff, and this is not good, right? And what do you think? Is it bizarre to steal things? Yes, indeed. It is bizarre. It is strange. It is not normal to steal stuff from other people. Is it okay if you're walking around and you see the corpse on the red square? At the red square, the corpse is pretty nasty and not good because it's a dead body. And you know what? Where we have the corpse stays on the red square, it's the Lenin's mausoleum, right? That's the place where you can see the Lenin corpse. Absolutely, the dead body, and it's there. Another question, when something hits you so deeply, is it meaningful or it's meaningless? Probably when something hitting you, it's something meaningful, something that makes sense, something that is important. And I think we all should think about this. What hits us while we were reading this story? Because who said that? Peter Parker, right? The Spider-Man said, the big power leads to the big responsibility. Or I don't remember who was it? The not grandpa, someone from the family of Peter Parker said that. So with big power, with big superpowers, you have big responsibility. You have to take care of it. And it correlates with our story and with the story that Plato had told to his students 2,400 years ago, right? And a couple more questions to you guys. So maybe you go, you're walking on the street, you mind your own business, and someone is asking you a question. What's going on? How is your day? And you don't know who is this guy. What would you say? Would you answer this question, or you would say to this guy, hey, mind your own business? Yeah, it depends on your nature. If you like to talk, you probably would answer, right? But if you don't like to talk, you just say, hey, mind your own business, man. I'm just busy here. That's how you would do, right? Yeah. Okay. I think we had discussed enough for today's episode. It was just a little warm up for you guys, and I'm trying to go back to this little discussion in English. And I hope you guys are not bored and you're coming back to the English vibe. You haven't gave up with your English. We're going back and we will practice a lot soon, right? I'm already working on the next episode with Rachel Petters. She's a teacher. She teaches French language. She's from Texas, America. And I think it will be a nice interview. I just need to finish and polish a couple more things, and I will upload it here on the podcast, on the platform. Just let's stay in touch. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe on the podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, the people whom you trust, the people who study the language. It matters to grow. It matters to develop together, because you know what? I want this podcast to be like accountability partner. If you feel sick, if you feel tired, if you feel no energy, if you just don't want to study anymore, I want you just to switch on this podcast, refill your energy, refill your battery, and go back on track and continue learning the language. Because you know what? The point is, there is no barrier of over, there is no and in the journey of language progression. So you always learn something new. You always develop something new. And that's what you really need. I hope it was valuable. It matters a lot to me. And I hope that you understand that your things, your actions matters a lot. Every minute you spend with your language development makes you a better person. So let's stay in touch. I hope to see you very soon. If you want to support our podcast, you can transfer the money to my direct bank account by my phone number. Join our communities and let's stay in touch. Have a beautiful day. I hope to see you very soon, guys.